Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you knew me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you into the Let's Play episode of Echo, Carl's Path. So, the last place we left off, the gang had thrown Carl a birthday party, even though his birthday was like a couple of months away. It was just an excuse for, I think, Leo to kind of spy in on Chase and see what he's up to, but Carl didn't take too kindly to it. He's having a lot of issues right now with his self-confidence and such. He thinks he's worthless. He's been pampered his whole life. He hasn't had to struggle with anything, so, it's coming back to bite him. But anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy. Let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes, and let's jump right in. Alarm Chen, you're up. All right, let's go. All right. I shrug. No words coming to mind. We sit in silence a while, listening to the train horns. Looking down, I see the joint still smoking up from the planks of the floor. Slowly, I lean over and pick it up before holding it out to Carl. He takes it and looks at it for a second. Raising his paw, he pauses, then takes a drag before flicking it off the side of the balcony. He lets his head sag, his big horns dipping towards the floor as he closes his eyes. Slowly, I put my arm around his shoulders. He leans into me and doesn't pull away. Oh, poor guy. It's harder to feel sympathetic for Carl because he has, been handed all this shit through his entire life, and all these other people have, had to work for everything, so... Right. So it's over with Leo, huh? Carl waves his controller around like it's going to help him avoid my three-spike throw, almost knocking over his beer bottle. It hits him anyway, and he gives a little grunt of annoyance. I grin and consider letting up on him because he's clearly drunk. Seems that way. He hasn't really talked to me much since I got here. I leave out the part that's probably my fault. Carl lets out a weird little sound as I punch his character as if he were the one getting punched instead. Well, that sucks, does it? Does it suck? He looks intently at the screen. Still, I get the feeling he's not paying full attention because it's getting easier and easier to nail his character with my combos. I don't really know yet. It's been 3 years. Maybe it just hasn't kicked in yet. Take that long to kick in for you? By the time you dumped me, I felt like I couldn't get out of bed for a week. Oh, God. I remember that, back in high school, when we were both 16. Didn't she get you into pot? Carl lets out a snort again as I flip-kick his demon character in the chin. Yep! Thanks Satan for it. I don't know how else I would have gotten over her. Anyway, not to be a dick, but you're better for it. He surprises me with a spin kick that sends my Angel Wolf character flying across the screen. I focus on the game and throw a barrage of punches into his demon character's face, sending blood splashing onto the screen. Oh? Well, it's just hard to talk to you and Leo when you guys are being all lovey and shit. His words are mushy, starting to bleed into one another. His character throws a flaming spear at my angel, which I easily deflect with my shimmering shield. I extend my wings and swoop in to throw my lightning bolts. Well, no one really tried to talk to us when we were together. It was like we were making you guys uncomfortable. I watch his demon fly into the air, surrounded by a glowing white circle. Looking over, I see Carl frowning. No, I don't think so. His demon spreads its own much spikier wings and hovers up from the circle. He reaches up into the sky and a red lightning bolt slams down into my character. You guys were just kind of self-absorbed. You didn't call me once after you guys started dating. And here I was thinking Carl never liked conflict. That sentence carried a lot of weight and a lot of years behind it. I'm not about to argue with him, though, especially after what happened with Jenna. That lightning bolt was it for my wolf angel, and his demon flies up to the screen and flips us off as winner is displayed. Well, there was college. Carl stretches, leaning back into the giant beanbag chair we're sitting on. I don't remember much of college anymore. He lays back in the chair and looks over at me. By the way, I have a job interview on Friday. My eyes widen. Don't act so surprised, asshole. He hangs on the last word with a lisp. You're drunk, but that's awesome. Where at? A print shop. Be a production assistant. Well, that sounds decent. Yeah, parents told me they'd buy me a car to get there. It's in Peyton, of course. But anyway, Flint told me he'd give me a ride to the interview, but since you're here... He gives me a lazy, sidelong glance. While I usually wouldn't have an issue with it, the thought of how hard I'd been procrastinating my school project is starting to make my stomach churn. But hey, how often will I get to hang out with Carl when the break is over? I'd love to take you. We were going to go out and do stuff tomorrow. Why don't we change your look? Get you new clothes or something for your interview. He keeps smiling. Sounds great. So, what's it like, kissing a dude? I let out a surprised laugh. What? Is it like more... He wiggles his paws uselessly in the air. I don't know. You kissed a girl, right? Samantha, right? I think so, but that was like 7th grade. So, was it different? I laugh at him again. Pretty sure it's just like kissing a girl, man. You sure? I feel like kissing different species would be even more different. Maybe. I've always sort of wanted to know what it's like. He says it slowly, deliberately, trying not to trip over his own words. Yeah? I say it even slower because I think I know what Carl's getting at. I can see how you guys can be sexy. Carl, are you coming out to me? He rolls over onto his stomach, facing me fully now. That's a good question. Maybe we can answer it. I'm a little buzzed, but not drunk. Are you asking if you can kiss me? He gazes at me lazily through lidded eyes, looking about ready to fall asleep. Oh, only if you want. I'd been asked to be the experiment of a few guys in the past, in college, and I'd always said no, but Carl is drunk. I shouldn't let him, or is different. Well, this is a Carl run, so we're going to go with is different. Yeah, bag him and tag him. If you want. Carl's eyes widen slightly, then he slowly gets to his hands and knees and crawls towards me. I was going to stand up, but it looks like he wants to do this on the beanbag. I lean back in the bag, sinking into it a bit more. Carl kneels at my feet, looking unsure. Is this right? Yeah, do you want me to Before I know it, he's crawled up on top of me. His presence is heavy and warm, and I lean back, feeling myself Yeah, despite the awkwardness of it all. He looks down at me, into my eyes, and I feel myself blush. Sorry, is this okay? Yeah, it's fine. He leans down and pauses, then leans in all the way, and I feel his soft, wide muzzle against mine. At the same time, I feel one of his paws slide behind my head. It's different than kissing Leo or Samantha way back in middle school. Carl's muzzle is big and more blunt, his lips softer and more malleable. It covers the entire front of my muzzle. His beard tickles my neck and cheeks. I expect him to pull back quickly, but he doesn't, keeping his paw behind my head and pressing deeper into the kiss. His other paw holds onto my upper arm. I open my eyes and see that his are closed. He hunches over me, closer, and I feel myself start to respond, reaching up to wrap my arms around his broad back. He huffs in response, and I feel his lips part, and his tongue flicks against my lips. I start to open them, but that's when I feel the beanbag shift and Carl slides to the side. Somehow he manages to slip and fall on the wobbly beanbag, his mouth sliding sloppily off mine as he slumps down on top of me. Oh, God, that's adorable. Oh, shit, that looks like a Reptilicus poster. Oh, yeah. On the side there, it says Scalies. Yep. That looks like Reptilicus. I let out a grunt, and his weight comes to rest on my chest. He chuckles, and I can feel the spasms all the way through my own body. Ha! Oops! I laugh, too, then wait a while, but he doesn't move. Carl, you can get off now. He doesn't say anything. I'm about to say something else when I hear a deep snore right next to my ear. Carl? His response is another guttural snore. I shift under him, for the first time realizing how actually fucking heavy he is. It's not exactly a bad feeling. His presence is enveloping and warm, and the beanbag under me is offering enough cushion so I'm not getting crushed. The snoring isn't bad either. It's almost comforting as his breath tickles the hairs inside my ear. His big belly squishes up against my torso like a warm sandbag. My eyes are heavy, and slowly I wrap my arms around his back. I haven't had someone to sleep with in years, and now I realize how much I miss the feeling. Slowly, the dim lights in Carl's room fade out as I fall asleep to those comforting, rhythmic snores. Oh, God, that's adorable. You guys look so cute together. Are you serious? They have sprites for when they were kids? Oh, my God. TJ, you're so cute. He's so adorable. Alright. Stop! I heave for breath as I chase TJ down the dusty street, trying not to pop the water balloon that I'm holding with my claws. You always chase me! TJ's whining again, but I don't care. He's always the funniest one to hit. His crazy speed made it all the more rewarding. Even though he's a grade lower, he could outrun me easily. I can still keep up with him, though, since he's running around houses and mailboxes. My 4th grade brain is easily able to figure out ways to cut him off. It's not long before I have him backed up against the back of the Benelli's trailer home. He has a stupid dance where he's running back and forth, covering his head. Stop! I stick my tongue out to the side of my muzzle, following him back and forth with the balloon I have cocked behind my head. Hold still! No! He finally curls up into a ball against the house, crouching in the dirt in his blue swim trunks. I stop. Well, it's not fun if you're not going to try to run. He looks back up at me between his fingers. You always throw it too hard. Well, if you... He suddenly darts to the right, but I'm ready, hurling the balloon right at his back. It doesn't explode, though, instead smacking against his spotted back with a wet splat. Fucking fuck, that hurts! Chase, you were a little asshole when you were a kid. I've had that done multiple times to me without a shirt on. That fucking hurts! Ow! He skids to a stop, then immediately bends and scoops up the balloon, grinning at how the tables had turned. Uh-oh! I start jogging backwards as TJ heaves back with the balloon, but I don't have anything to worry about. In his excitement, he grips the balloon too hard, and I can see his claws dimple the rubber before it explodes mid-throw. Water showers his head, and dust kicks up his dark spots speckle the ground, just like his fur, I think. He gasps the way cats do whenever they get any water on them, and I point and laugh. I can tell he's deciding whether or not to sulk and cry, and I hold my breath because I don't want the game to end. I think I win him over because he smiles and starts to laugh, too. That always happens to me! Well, don't hold it so hard. I wasn't! Yeah, you were, I see TJ's ears perk and he looks over, towards the front of the house. What? But that's when I hear it, too. Doing with those water balloons? Oh, no. Don't touch me! I'm not touching you, just give me the fucking balloons! Clint and Jeremy. Carl must have followed us and I saw him out the window. My guts drop to my feet and I feel like I'm gonna pee myself. TJ covers his mouth and I see tears starting to brim in his eyes. I think fast. Go run and get Leo, he can help! Before I know it, TJ's tearing across the backyards of the houses, up the block where Leo's filling water balloons. At least that's where I hope he's going. Slowly, I pat around the house, peeking around the corner of the front yard. What the fuck? Oh, it's Carl. Wow, interesting. Carl's standing with his fists clenched, staring hard, trying to look defiant, but I can tell he's terrified. Multicolored water balloons are scattered around his hooves. He must have been carrying them all in his white tank top. He always wore a shirt when he did water games. What's the matter, cunt face? We're not gonna hurt you. Heh, right. Jeremy laughs stupidly at Clint and bends down to pick up a purple water balloon. Clint starts circling around Carl and the ram follows him with his muzzle, nostrils flaring. As he's looking the other way, Jeremy throws the water balloon right into Carl's face. Following the smack of rubber on muzzle, the balloon explodes, showering all three of them in water. Carl whimpers and covers his face. I grip the side of the house, knowing I should do something, but my legs aren't moving. Cat trying to get into the room. Leave me alone! Carl's doing a good job of not crying, but he's about to. Hey, we're just playing. Clint leans down to pick up another water balloon. That's when Carl makes a break for it, dodging around the bent over Clint towards the street. Clint's too fast, though, and the ring-tailed cat instantly reaches out and catches Carl by one of his horns. He rides him for a second, jumping on Carl's back before using his long tail to trip the ram up. Carl lands on his stomach with a loud grunt as Clint sits on his back, holding onto his horns. Cunt, he stepped on my tail! Clint grabs both of Carl's horns and leans back so far I think I can hear his spine cracking. Carl screams in pain and reaches for his horns. With his face pointed at the sky, I can see the tears rolling down his face now. The one eye I can see is open wide, and I think he sees me, but still my legs won't move. Hey! Leo jogs up the street, looking right at Clint. The ringtail sneers but drops Carl back to the ground and stands up as Leo gets closer. The fuck do you want? Clint's weary, his casual demeanor more tense now that Leo's here. I sigh with relief. Carl sits up and quickly grubs his face before standing and running back up the street, his hooves clopping loudly all the way. Wow! Look at these kids! Oh my god! Leo doesn't even look at him. He eyes his eyes on Clint. I said, what do you want? You know, understand? Honestly, Leo might not have understood. He'd only been here less than a year. Still, Leo doesn't say anything, his jaw working, and I wonder if he's imagining chewing on Clint's neck. You're fucking crazy. Let's go, Jeremy. Clint is afraid of Leo, and he'd left us alone ever since the wolf had moved in, at least for the most part. Even though they're both 13, Leo is a head taller and almost twice as wide. Leave them alone. Clint stops. What? Leave them alone. Forever. Clint looks hesitant, obviously not wanting to stay, but unable to leave now that Leo had thrown out a challenge. Not in front of Jeremy. Or what? Or... He thinks for a second. It's not good for you. Painful. I hadn't been paying attention to Jeremy, but I see a sudden movement from behind Leo followed by another smack and a splash. Leo arches his back, hissing at the pain from how hard Jeremy had thrown it. The wolf whirls around, one paw rubbing at his back as he snarls at Jeremy, who points and laughs. Oh my god, you fucking children. He doesn't see Clint running at him from behind. Leo! I yelp out his name, and he does turn around, only to catch a sucker punch right in the stomach. I can hear the thud along with all the air going out of him and all the way from here. Leo stumbles back and stops with his paws on his knees, gasping. I wince and cover my eyes, only to pull them back down immediately and see Jeremy leaping on Leo from behind and biting his ear. Leo screams in pain, but immediately twists and slams his knee into Jeremy's crotch. Jeremy lets go and lets out his own scream, which Leo puts an end to when he grabs the fox and swings him around by the shirt. Jeremy's forward momentum is brought to a halt as he slams headfirst into the oak tree. He goes down. Clint's scared, his eyes wide as he looks from Leo to Jeremy to the front door. Leo doesn't give him a chance, though, running forward and hitting him with a tackle that slams them both to the ground. I think I hear Clint start to beg, but Leo's fists start raining down on his face. Now I can hear a crunchy, fleshy thuds as punch after punch hit Clint's face. And I can hear Leo, too. "Querías pelear? No me llores!" The sounds Clint makes go from snarling to screaming to gurgling, and I cover my ears because it sounds so terrible. Again, I feel like I should stop this. Leo's looking like he's in a trance with how focused he is on hurting Clint. But again, I'm too terrified. I run in the direction Carl went. I need to tell him I'm sorry, that I should have helped him somehow, but that I was so scared. Even though this road doesn't lead to his house, I somehow get there. The sky is red and orange, even though it was noon just a few minutes ago. For some reason, Carl's house is bigger, much bigger than it should be. The architecture is pointier, different. I walk around it, slowly looking for Carl. Looking down, I see hoof prints. They're too big to be Carl's, but I follow them anyway. They lead around the back of the house right up to a wooden set of cellar doors. I reach out to them, even though I feel something terrible welling up inside my stomach. I pull on them, but they're stuck, as if welded shut somehow. A window well next to the doors draws my attention, and I get down onto my knees, then on my stomach as I look intently through the window. Ooh, excuse me, guys. There are little clear spots on the glass, little paw prints breaking through a layer of old dust. The paw prints of children. The room is almost pitch black, but the red light behind me illuminates some of the cement ground through the windows. Behind the paw prints, I see something long and spindly crawl across the ground. Shit. I don't know where I am at first as I open my eyes, but the dimmed Lucha Lobo lamp tells me. Laying there for a while, I realize that Carl's no longer on top of me. My face fur is a little wet, and my nose is stuffy. I look around thinking that Carl probably went back to his bed, but he's not here either. He must be getting a drink or something. A dull, far-off thud makes me open my eyes again. I listen carefully, starting to worry that the sound came from downstairs. Again, I hear it, and it makes me jump this time. Shit, is it happening again? I hear a voice coming from the same area, directly below me. It's a lot more muffled, but I can still tell it's a voice, muttering and cursing. Carl? My voice sounds weak and warbly in the heavy silence of the dark house. The scuffling sounds below me stop for a second, though, then start up again, more vigorous now. Slowly I sit up, listening to the whispering and thumping beneath me. My mind flashes to Duke, the weasel's foot forward, his eyes locked on me. Finally, the anxiety gets to me and I stand up, walking as quietly as I can from the room into the hallway. The kitchen is dark and I move over to the front door to check to see if it's locked. It is, so I move over to the stairs and look down into the inky blackness, almost afraid to turn on the lights. Nothing jumps out at me when I do, but the light is actually making me more afraid, knowing that it will light up anything that's down there. I move down the stairs as quietly as I can, every creak making my fur bristle. The scraping sound is louder now, and so is the voice. I'm almost positive it's Carl, but I can't be sure. I call out his name again, but it's almost a whisper in my throat. I clasp my paws together against my chest, eyes flicking to each doorway as I slowly move down the hall, not wanting Carl to get the jump on me. Ooh. When I finally get into the crawl space door, I can pick up a rhythmic thumping along with the scrapes and muttering and the muttering, which is much clearer now. Buried inside. Help! I shiver. Carl, this isn't funny! Again, my voice is weak and unconvincing. He probably didn't even hear me. Another thump almost shakes the house and I jump. What the hell is he doing? Is it even Carl? Did whoever is down there murder him and is now in the process of burying his body? The fear is too much and I know I have to open the door now and put an end to this stupid prank or I'm going to call 911 and make everything worse. With each step I take towards the doors, it feels like the air gets more electrified, the charge making my fur stand on end all over my body. As soon as I touch the tiny knob to the door and start to pull it open, though, the sound stops. I freeze, listening hard. I get the feeling that whatever is down there is doing the exact same thing. Then I hear a series of thuds as whatever it is runs at the door. I fall back and can't help myself from shrieking, landing on my ass and scooting backwards with my paws and feet. The door flies open and I'm face to face with Dusty Carl. Carl, what the fuck? I scream at him, my chest heaving as I clutch it, like I'm about to have a heart attack. He looks confused, looking around, then back at me, breathing hard himself. I was just... I wait, but he doesn't say anything. There's white dust all over his horns and on his shoulders. Just what? I yell at him again and he jumps. I'd feel bad if I wasn't so freaked out. Sleepwalk sometimes, alright? I debate whether or not to accept that as an answer, but he looks confused enough that it just might be true. You scared the shit out of me! Carl moves out of the crawl space, leaning over to brush his head off. You scared the shit out of me, and I didn't know where I was. Slowly, I get to my feet, still breathing heavily. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right there for now. We made some decent progress in this today. Damn. Oh man. We got to wax nostalgic a little bit with their childhood, and how Leo was an absolute beast even back then. Jeremy and Clint. Always a bunch of assholes. But anyway, guys, they've got some good thumbnail art, that's for damn sure. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!